Good advice. Oh, the simplest, quickest advice I've ever heard. All right, Peter, do the complete opposite. Give me some bad advice on retaining your staff.
Okay. Stack rank your crew and publish the rankings.
Ooh, I like that. All right, Andy, that's pretty damaging. Which one's worse?
Well, actually, even worse than that, stack rank your crew. Tell them that they've been stack ranked and don't publish the rankings.
I like it.
Oh,
Let's
that's epic.
begin.
Get ready. It's Super Cyber Friday.
Welcome, everybody, to Super Cyber Friday. Today's topic is hacking employee retention, an hour of critical thinking about how to keep and develop your talent. We have two fantastic guests today. We have Peter Gregory, who's the author of The Art of Writing Technical Books, and Jesus, so many lists. If I listed them all, we would literally have no time for the show. And Andy Ellis, who's the principal of Duha, also the author of 1% Leadership. By the way, their books are going to come into, we're going to bring those up on the show in just a second. We got lots going on. We're going to have our chat room going up. Please speak up in the chat room. If you're in the chat room, our crowd is growing as we speak. Submit tips on how to improve staff retention. Just write 10P for 10% better. Join us on video with Bring Me On, ask a question for a guest, and vote for your favorite question as well. We really have two great guests, so you're super, super lucky to be joining us today. All right. We started with good advice, bad advice, 10%. Oh, I guess 10P, 10%, whatever. One or the other, how to improve staff retention. We're going to play public interest. We'll also play which password is more popular and last questions and answers. And then we'll do our meetup. So stick around for our meetup at the end. And I'm going to talk about where there are going to be prizes for our two games. I'm going to mention that in a second. Do me a favor, though. Join us in 1 week from today. Hacking analyst happiness, another really good topic. An hour of critical thinking about why a happy SOC is an effective SOC. We have a link right above at the top of the chat. It says Hacking Analyst Happiness. It's right there. And you can click on that at any time. Click the register button. It will not take you out of this. Just open up another window. You can register for it, and you'll still be in this discussion. And then very lastly, stick around for a meetup. That is going to happen at the tail end of our show. And we love to chat with you. Can you remove that, Josh, for us? Because I can't seem to do that right now. Thank you very much. All right. Here's the point I want to point out to you right now is we have two books here. First, I'm going to show this on stage. This is Andy Ellis's book, 1% Leadership. Andy is going to be giving a copy of this book out to the winner of our two games. So the winner of the game is going to get two books. First one is going to be from Andy. Now, I'm going to point out that you have to live in the U.S. to get this book, all right? So these are going to be any U.S.-based winners will get the book. So, but this is up. If you don't want to wait to win, you can buy it on Amazon. I'll show that to you later. Or the other one is you could win the Artificial Intelligence Governance Professional Study Guide, the AIGP, from Peter, his book. And you could buy it right now or wait to see if you could win it as well.
Try saying that one 5 times fast, David.
AIGP, the Artificial
I want you
Intelligence
to the whole words out there.
Yeah, it's a lot. I will show those later as well. But we are going to jump into our conversation right now, and we will have two games, two chances to win both books. It's going to be awesome. Thank you, everybody. TJ's here. Andrew's here. Charles is here. We're here, and we want you. And the crowd is growing. It's great. All right, here we go. And by the way, ask questions through the whole thing. So I'm going to start with this question. What are the most common ways security teams accidentally signal to top performance that they should start looking elsewhere? I've seen some of the, and by the way, this doesn't have to be isolated to security teams. Just what are ways that are signaled like it's time for you to go?
So I actually want to jump in on this one. For those of you who are familiar with capability maturity models, whether it's SEI's or somebody else's,
yes,
single biggest way is you declare that you're going to be a different maturity than you are as an organization, right? Because organization maturity is tied to employee, the way that they operate, right? We all talk about like hero culture and hero employees. There are people who love to work in a level 1 organization, right? There's no process in their way. They can just go get things done. It's fantastic. if you rely on them and then you start talking about how you're going to be a level 3 organization, you have just told them that they should head somewhere else, because you're going to slow them down with micromanagement, with process, with change management, with consensus, with all these management buzzwords, and you're not going to value what they do.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, Peter, what's the signal to people that, well, it's time to start looking elsewhere?
Something that I've experienced a few times in the past is when a new management team is brought in and they're going to say, okay, we're going to change things up and do things differently.
Oh, I've seen this happen. Yes.
In which case the organization turns into something that you didn't sign up for.
I will tell you, I left a job for exactly that reason. I will just say that I used to work at a company where I was literally laughing on a daily basis with my coworkers. And at the last 6 months, I was consoling coworkers from crying. It had changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
man.
a related one when a new boss comes in and they say they're not going to change anything, but then all of a sudden they hire a bunch of their friends and people they've worked with in the past into jobs with weird titles that don't actually do anything. And often what they're basically saying is, yeah, these people, I've hired them so they can learn the jobs of my existing direct reports, so then I can let go my existing direct reports. Like, when you see somebody get hired to replace you, it's time to start looking.
And by the way, Andrew Aiken says something that I've heard a bazillion times. It's often said that employees don't leave their job or their companies they work for. They leave their managers. The influence a manager has on your job satisfaction can outweigh the specifics of the work itself. How strongly do you guys agree with that statement?
100%.
Yeah.
98%.
What's the other 2%?
So the challenge is that sometimes there's nothing the manager can do. Your company may be so awful and the manager may have no ability to ameliorate that. And so I don't want it to be that it's just the manager, but it is mostly how the manager sort of protects you from the company or amplifies the good of the company.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, and by the way, as a manager, you've both been managers. Do you fear your staff has had enough of you?
Every day.
Oh, yeah. We wonder sometimes. I mean, that's the thing that keeps us awake, right? Is like, well, what do they really think of me? And
yeah,
of course, they're still around. So either they can't get another job or they just want to stick around for another month or a year to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, there's a great quote you learned in the military, actually, which is that, when the grunts stop complaining, you have a problem.
Really?
Yes. If you want to hear the complaints, you want people to be whining at each other, because it means they're comfortable. It means that, like, if you screw up, you'll hear about it because people will be like, God damn it, I can't believe Andy did that. Okay, when they stop telling you or telling their peers that you have made mistakes is where they've already checked out. They're like, oh, this is irredeemable. Why should I bother complaining? It won't fix anything.
We have this from Ajay. I hope I'm not screwing up your name. Ajay Gekko. When a manager can't give a value to what you do or accomplish, the only desire is to leave, even if you love your job. Yeah, if you're not recognized for your work, yeah, of course, you got to be recognized.
I think
if you need that, maybe you don't need that recognition, but you have to decide whether you want that.
What are you saying, Peter?
I mean, employees do need affirmation, but too much is just as harmful as too little. And everybody is different. You can't give the same level of affirmation across your whole crew, because it's too much for some of them and they'll be suspicious, and it's not enough for others. I
once worked with a C-level executive when I was I was their executive advisor, and they had this program for like the employee of the month. And they would recognize somebody, but they literally kept a list, and they said, well, we won't recognize somebody until we've recognized everybody through this program. And I'm like, they're going to figure it out that at some point, like, this has no value if you say everybody's going to get the same recognition. I'm just going to trickle it out once a month.
Haven't we seen that before?
Like
in schools, maybe? Participation awards?
Oh, my kid's school. Can I tell you? They give an award out. We get an email saying your son has won an award. What happens is they give it out to every single student, and it's just everything's on a rotation basis.
Right. And then here's the thing: you can do participation awards well, but nobody wants to do the work. And the way that you do that well is you figure out exactly what you want to award somebody. You say, everybody will get an award, or I'm firing them. Conveniently, students, you can't fire. Employees, you can. If there's no reason that you want to recognize somebody after a year, it's a good chance they're not a good fit. But you should be able to recognize them for something. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It's not like we're saying, oh, look, you're the Titan who makes the team go. But like, you're the person who always has a smile on your face in the morning. We appreciate that. Like, that's it. Sometimes that's the affirmation that people wanted, was to just be recognized as a human being.
Well, and people also, they can tell genuine appreciation versus, being disingenuous and you're just saying it to say it without meaning it. They can tell.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah. I mean, look, being effusive without really meaning it can very much backfire. I agree 100%.
Okay, I got to laugh at Dwayne's comment, which should get promoted, putting employee retention into data retention. So the reason that I'm extra laughing at this is I used to work for Disneyland many, many years ago. In fact, in a prior millennium. And we use social security numbers as personal identifiers. And so that's literally before they had we had cards that you could swipe, but before that we had to type them in by hand. And so I typed in people's social security numbers a lot. I remembered them. As an employee who left, I am a data leak waiting to happen, because I still have in my head people's names and the social security number associated with it.
That's incredible.
This is 30 years ago.
Nobody cared about it. Well, I tell this story. I saw Eric Schmidt speak. This goes back, I can tell you exactly, it was 15 and a half years ago. So I'm speaking at a conference, Eric Schmidt, who was then CEO of Google. And he said, and by the way, I want to stress, nobody blipped on this. And this is just a privacy issue. This is actually an employee retention story, but how nobody cared about that at the time. He said, we can predict at a very high rate where you're going to go next. And now you say that today, people lose their minds. 15 and a half years ago, nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
No, not at all. I was shocked. At all.
Well, actually here, so let's talk about employee retention.
Yes.
Best employee retention policy, I made a joke in the intro, it was about, pay people, is plan where they're going next. You have that conversation with people about their next two jobs. And when the best next move for them is to leave your team or leave your company, you should have that conversation with them. I had a number of people who worked for me who he said, if you want what you want in your career, you should leave our team and go over to this team. Like, very upfront, honest conversation. Do you know how many of them actually took us up on that? Only the ones that we wanted out. The ones that we wanted to retain were like, yeah, I could go over there, but nobody over there is a manager who's actually going to talk to me about my career. I would rather stay here.
It was reverse psychology.
A little while.
Right,
it wasn't intended. Like, partly I was trying to get them to move to elsewhere in our company so that I could hire new people and train them and develop them. Like, this is how you metastasize your philosophy. And I couldn't get them to go because they said, nobody else does this. Nobody else cares about my career. So I'll stick around here for a little bit. I'll do some lateral training. I'll build my base up, and then I'll move later, which is in fact what happened when I left. Like, almost the entire team ended up wandering away.
Well, see, it could go the other way too. The Andy Ellis is the data leak, as Rich
absolutely
pointed out. All right, we got more questions. By the way, audience, throw your questions in. We have the little question bubbles up there. Just go ahead, click on that, answer your question. Okay. This is so. Here's a really good point, and you made a good reference. And by the way, Andy's book 1% Leadership speaks to a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about, and I'm sure you're going to be referencing it as well. And again, you have two chances to win, and if you don't win, you can just buy the darn thing. How do you recognize when your retention strategy has moved from genuine development, you are truly developing your staff, to just throwing perks at people, hoping they'll stay? I'll give a perfect example. I wanted more money. Your first tip on this, and my manager went to his manager, and this was years and years ago. I was very, very young at the time, in my early 20s. And his manager said to my manager, well, can we just give him hockey tickets? and I heard that, and I really lost my effing, you know what? I did leave soon after.
That's a good one. I like that.
Can we just give him hockey tickets?
So I want to say, like, how many people actually in organizations where it was ever focused on genuine development? Because here's your metric for it, which is in almost every organization, about half of all development activities, and I'm putting air quotes around that, are pointed at your bottom people, right? You're putting them on a PIP because we have to document why we're getting them out of the organization. And so half of your time as a manager is spent dealing with HR and the ludicrous paperwork of you have already decided to let this person go, and now you're going to spend 9 months managing them out. The other half is spent on the administrative paperwork of giving opportunities to your top contributors, right? That, who are going to go off and it's like, oh yeah, we have this training program. Who do we want to send to it? And you're picking which top contributor goes to it. So 15% of your team gets all of your time. The 85% in the middle gets none. If that is true, you don't care about genuine development because the people you need to be developing are all the ones in the middle. Your top folks, they're doing fine. They'll get caught by whatever program you institute for everybody else. But if you're not paying attention to the middle class of your organization, you do not care about genuine development. And I think that is the norm and the standard in the corporate world today. So I challenge the thesis of this question.
All right. He challenges the thesis. What do you think, Peter?
I think I definitely agree, Andy. When we stop valuing team members as individuals and we start just seeing them as just a crew of all that they're all the same and not people with individual needs,
right?
That is definitely the problem. I mean, it takes, as a manager or above, I mean, it takes a lot of time to develop and nurture relationships with all those people, and you do it to grow them, to retain them, and to help see the outcomes that you're looking for as a department and as a company.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then the one thing I think a lot of companies get wrong when they do say, hey, let's look at some perk that we want to give out to retain people. And it happens a lot, right? You'll be like, oh, we're a startup and we've got like 2 years to IPO. So we want to give people a perk so they stay to the IPO. Is you don't say what happens when it runs out. Because what'll happen is like people do like retention equity bonuses. And I love these. Like I got a lot of these when in the startup world, you get this retention equity and it will be like this huge uplift on your total compensation. And then, so you sit there, you invest for 2 years, you get it. And then what happens the next year when your compensation just dropped by 40%? Like so many teams do not think about that downside because people now say, like, that's my compensation. And I had that where I had like 6 years in a row of this fantastic compensation. And then I'm taking a 30% pay cut. I'm not very happy about that. I got used to that extra pay. And that tells me that they only really cared about keeping me for that little while.
Good point. All right. We got our first game to play. Here's some music.
Do you know what others are thinking? On the public interest.
All right. For those of you who don't know, we play now Kahoot within this platform. So look at your icons there. At the bottom is there an icon that kind of looks like an old Nintendo controller with like a plus sign and 2 dots. Go over there, and I'm going to play the game too. So enter the code, which is 797-9683. 797-9683. Then for your username, Andy would appreciate this, type in your social security number, right? All right. And I'm putting my name in here too. And I'm gonna, what I'll do is I'll do like a 10-second countdown in just a few seconds to make sure everybody gets in to compete. Again, we are playing Legendary CISO. That is Andy, by the way, because I'm the one who's given him that title. I am David S. in there. And Peter, are you in there? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm in there.
Where are you? Hold on, where are you? What's your username?
I am Viper.
Oh, Viper. There you go. You're Viper. Okay. All right. So, by the way, if Andy or Peter win, no books go out to anyone.
No, that's not true.
What?
If
who gets
I
a
win,
book?
Peter has to send me a book. And if Peter wins, I'll send him a book.
Okay.
There you go.
There
Deal.
we go. That is done. All right. Here we go. All right. Now you're going to get the 10-second countdown. You ready, everybody? Get in there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
So hard listening to David count.
4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Let's begin. And I'm playing because I haven't seen any of these questions. So I could win a book, although I have Andy's book already signed and read. All the above. I can speak very highly of it. I could also probably.
I'm going to aim to lose, so anybody that I beat should make fun of themselves.
Which term is the most monthly search queries? Quick. Skill or talent? Oh, we're going to find out. I think I picked wrong already. Already I'm feeling bad about my answer.
I went with, shortest.
I was wrong. I
got it right for picking the shortest answer.
Yeah, there you go. That sometimes works, that technique. But TJ's now, as you know, correct. You have to be correct first and then fast second.
Okay.
All right. Skill is more important than talent. Now we know.
Am I allowed to criticize the incorrect use of an en dash here?
No.
Damn it.
Doesn't matter. We don't care. We really don't. Succession, ladder, or promotion. Okay. Which one is it? You have 10 seconds, by the way.
This one could be tricky because if you're trying to get on your roof, only one of these answers it. Oh, because of the dang show.
That's it. It's the damn show. The show is what did it. I am 0 for 2 right now.
Yeah.
But TJ is kicking butt, as is Viper. Look at this. You were just 3 behind. By the way, we had one where we had 2 winners, and I had to give out 2 prizes.
I think their strategy is just
close to impossible. Look at that.
As fast as they can.
You're right. Success. I didn't think anyone could spell succession.
No, but we could pick it from a list.
That's true. Okay.
This one I definitely got wrong.
I feel confident about
Damn it, I want to go back and change my answer.
My first correct one. I don't want to be 0 for 3. I am now.
Okay, the fact that it's been the first one, the first answer each time.
They mix it up. They mix it up. That's just purely by happenstance. TJ is clearly 3 for 3
I think
right
TJ's
now.
just clicking the red box as fast as it comes up.
I don't think it works that way. All right. If you want to
laugh if it's the red one
red on the next one, that's your choice. All right, last one. TJ may go 4 for 4. We're going to find out. It was not. I picked everyone. Picked red.
Everybody.
We all picked red. I picked red too.
Went with stress now.
Fatigue. Nobody picked fatigue. So CJ definitely
tried chronic fatigue syndrome. So probably tied to long-term ailments.
All right, let's see who won. It might be TJ because nobody won that.
Nobody got that one.
So it's probably going to be TJ. It's almost definitely going to be TJ then. You came in third. 2 out of. See, it's amazing. 2 out of 4. It's going to be TJ. All right, good job, TJ. We will. We have your email address, and we will get that to both Andy and Peter, and they will send you a copy of their books coming soon. Actually, speaking of that, let's show them right now. Call to action, right here, showing it again. There you go. You can click that buy on Amazon button right now. Let's see what happens if I do that. So yeah, you can get that one, the Artificial Intelligence Governance Professional Study Guide. Or you get your 1% Leadership by Andy Ellis. Actually, can we actually paste the links in the chat? So, because I only can put those up for a second or two right there. All right, let's go back to our discussion. We do have some questions that come in. Please get your questions in. Good job. We have another game coming up in about 15 minutes. All right, here's Dwayne's question. If you don't have money budget to reward your people, what are some creative options in the absence of cold hard cash to create incentives for retention? Excellent question, Dwayne. Let's hear it. Peter, we'll go with you first.
I think as a manager, we really need to be genuine. We need to genuinely care about our team and the individual team players, and value those relationships and ensure that they know that they are valued. And in some companies, it may even be reasonable to say, look, I can't give you more money because they're not giving me any more money to give you any more money or anybody else. So, what other needs do you have? Maybe ask them what can help you in your career, today
Yes.
and in the future.
Oh, okay. That is a good point. And I've said this before to managers myself, where it's like, hey, okay, because by the way, the most common thing I've heard is we have a hiring freeze, which shuts everybody up. That's the whole point of it. Shut everybody up. But you can't perpetually have a hiring freeze, which what everyone seems to do, or a raise freeze.
Yeah, I'm like, have you not seen corporate America? You have a hiring freeze, then you hire 50 people, and the next day you have a hiring freeze again.
Yeah, I know. It opens up for just 24 hours.
Right. Yeah, just for the sales team to get a couple extra account execs.
Exactly. Well, it drives me crazy. I've heard it so many times.
So Andrew Aiken put in extra time off as his answer, and I'm pretty sure he meant it half as a joke. It's actually a real good answer, but not just half-ass it. Don't just say, oh, look, you can have an extra day off, because at the end of the day, they're not really going to strongly value that tied to you. What you really want to do is figure out what is the time off that matters for them. My favorite one is ban your entire management team from having standing meetings that start before 10 a.m. or end after 3 p.m. Because what you will discover is every caregiver in your family that has to do pickup, drop off, doctor's appointments, whatever, it's like, great, you actually care about me as a human being. So figure out that they can have time off, because the real challenge most orgs have is, even though you have a time off policy, your managers violate it left and right. They do abusive things to your employees. Stop letting them abuse your team. And so if you're a line manager, you can just do this really easily to protect your team. If you're a director, you have to enforce this against your managers.
No, agreed a lot. And honestly, this is also goes true for hiring as well. We did some work for Dice, Dice.com, which is an online job board for tech jobs, and we did this whole video where we interviewed. This was when it was totally a buyer's market, which is not now anymore. But we asked people, like, what's your motivator? And out of like the 30 to 40 interviews we did, money only came up like 2 to 3 times.
Well, the problem is that because there's so much collusion among employers through, the third-party services, that yes, you work for money, but you recognize that the same job somewhere else isn't paying you much different, because they're talking to each other just through a cabal. So people aren't going to. So I worry when someone says, "Oh, money doesn't come up in the top." That's because it's assumed that you will pay me.
Yeah.
But a friend talks about the concept of shields down, and there's an article about this, which is people can always make more money by going somewhere else.
Right.
But the cost of shifting employers is so high that until their shields come down, something pisses them off, they don't listen to that offer. And over time, like, it'll be that they'll make like 30, 40% more if they go somewhere else. But all it takes is one bad interaction. And then when their buddy says, hey, by the way, I'm working with this startup, you should come in and just see what we're about. And they've turned that down.
This is why recruiter cold calling works, because eventually they'll reach someone who's pissed off today and will consider going. And once they begin to take those steps, then, they're already gone.
Yeah. And TJ's onto something. TJ's on a roll here, I got to say. There's no agenda for a meeting. Meetings, 90% of them are waste time. They have no purpose, but they're on the calendar to make managers feel good. Every meeting needs to have success criteria for every attendee. If you schedule a meeting, why is each person in the room? What are they getting out of this meeting? How will they know it was successful? And that should be sent to them in advance. Here's why we're doing this meeting. Because the goal is, like, just because it's an hour on the calendar, no, if I can get it done in 15 minutes and give you 45 minutes back, that's what we should be doing. Value their time, because when they're in a meeting, they're not actually doing productive work for you.
So this came up in a recording we did just before this, and that came up. But there's an executive had their assistant go back to the last 3 months and worked with the assistant to figure out what were the meetings in the last 3 months that were not productive. And then the assistant looks at the meetings coming up over the next 3 months and starts canceling them.
Yeah. So every recurring meeting, this is one of my favorite things, should have death criteria. You should write down, if I have a recurring meeting, like every 2 weeks, David and I are sitting down to go over Project X, death criteria. When we have a plan for Project X and it executes, we end the meeting. What happens is so many people have these recurring meetings that just have been going on. Like, what's the point of this meeting? And it's fine to say, look, I've got a one-on-one with my direct report. Death criteria is they get promoted and don't work for me anymore. Now you know why you're having a one-on-one with them, to get them promoted. That's the real reason for your one-on-one once you have death criteria.
By
You
the way,
want to
I
kill
like
meetings.
Rich Straffolini said, Rich Straffolino, did I say Straffolini? Straffolino.
This meeting should have been a terse head nod.
This meeting should have been a terse head nod.
Yes.
Yes.
So Wendell, though, I do disagree. Meetings for meetings are really, really powerful. They're not in the way most people do them. But once you're at the executive level, like I had a quarterly status update with the CEO in which I have to walk over, like, here's every security project across the company that's CEO visible. Here's the status. Here's what's going on. Here's what I need from you. Now, if you don't have a pre-meeting, what happens is you walk into that meeting and you basically say, here's all the projects. Nothing happened on them in the last quarter. I need you to go sternly yell at some people and we'll get back to you next quarter. And nothing actually ends up happening because you're sort of trapped in this rat race. So before that meeting with the CEO, I have a meeting with everybody whose projects I'm going to report to the CEO, every SVP across the company. And I say, here's what I'm going to tell the CEO about your organization. You have 2 weeks to fix that. And I'll report whatever you want. And then 2 weeks before that meeting, I am meeting with their direct reports. So this escalating tiers of meetings is how, pre-meetings should work. What's often happening is the people who hold the pre-meeting are doing it because they themselves don't know how to run the project and they just want to look good in front of the CEO or whoever they're meeting with. And so they're trying to massage an unpleasant reality. My job is to report reality. If it is unpleasant, I want to tell everybody how unpleasant it is to give them a chance to change reality, because I'm not changing what I'm reporting.
Right. So meetings and meeting etiquette and so forth is just, a small part of, overall team culture, department culture, corporate culture, how people work and get things done and how they treat each other. And that definitely plays heavily into retention. The problem is, one way you can get to the root of that is through employee engagement, conversations, surveys, and so forth. But if your corporate culture is already at a place where your rank and file don't trust you, then even engagement is, may fail to work if they don't feel like, being honest to say, this is what I don't like about what's going on around here.
Yeah. And TJ's got a great point. For every meeting, and I actually did do this as a manager, is I had a mental list of like how much everybody made per hour. And it was like bucketed. I didn't need their exact numbers, but like we have, employees who functionally are paid $1,000 an hour.
Yeah.
Your CEO is making more than $1,000 an hour. Like if that's the reality, right? Your SVPs, they're close to 1,000. And you would just have this number. It's going all the way down. You look around the room in every meeting and do the math. You're like, oh, this is a $30,000 meeting. Did we get $30,000 of value out of this meeting? Like that's a crisp eye opener to look at that, because, and the worst part is that's burning value. You're taking money that you've already spent and you're lighting it on fire.
I remember having the same thought. I don't remember even the details of anything here, but literally like $1,000 or $2,000 was lost. It was like some small amount like that. And we had to have a meeting of 10 different people to figure out who to blame.
Right.
And it was with the client. And my attitude was, can we just fix this and move on? Like, no. Yeah. We had to have the meeting. And I was just looking around the room because we're definitely blowing this money right now.
Right. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Because
if you want to be really depressed,
yeah,
here's the math you do: is you go and sit and start writing down all of the wasted time, which isn't necessarily wasted. Some of it is like corporate compliance, but every training that people go to, every one of these status meetings, and figure out what percentage of time people are not doing the thing you pay them to do. Right. And my general rule of thumb, it's about 25%. In most companies, 25% of an employee's day is spent doing things other than what you hired them to do. But it's compounding. What happens is when it's 25%, so they're only delivering on 75%.
But what is that 25% they're doing, though? That's not.
So, sometimes it's just bad status meetings, meetings with managers, the company all hands, like all of these things that you should get some value out of them. But like code of ethics training, security awareness training, like these are all things that they're doing on your time because you're paying them to do it. That's not what you pay them for value. But these are compounding. If somebody works 2,000 hours and you take 20 hours out of their year, fine, that's a 1% cost. But now once they're down to 1,500 hours of value, you take 20 more hours out. That's not 1% anymore. Now that's 1.3%. Like it gets worse and worse and worse every time you take away time. That's the single biggest drain, in my opinion, on people's morale, and what makes them want to leave is the amount of time they spend where they don't get to produce value for the company.
Good point. All right, we're 5 minutes. Wait, go ahead. 5 minutes away from our next game.
Yeah.
And I just want to throw a question here before you answer here. I think this is student Wendell, and I think maybe unfortunately Wendell is entering the market a little jaded here. Is it rare to find a leader that focuses on positive paperwork as much as or more than negative? I have fortunately not had incredibly negative managers. Wendell, I wouldn't worry about this one. Would you agree, Peter?
I think so. Although I'm not 100% tracking with the
paperwork
positive paperwork.
I know. I think he's just saying positive versus negative. In general, most people are positive. You don't last too long as a manager if you're constantly negative. You just don't.
Oh, true.
Oh,
true.
That I don't agree with. I know
lots
of bad managers who're just negative.
But they last. They survive.
Who decides whether or not a manager should stick around? Not the people they're jerks to.
There is,
it's often the people that don't see them very often, the people upstairs, right?
Yeah. So
then it might be a kind of a decision that doesn't have to do with their management or leadership skills, but
all right, here's a question I have for you two and for the entire chat room. Has anyone ever complained about a manager and actually had groups of people complain about a manager go over their head to complain about them?
Yes.
Yes. Peter?
It hasn't happened to me, but I've seen it happen to others.
Okay, Andy, I want to know your story.
I mean, so I've had this in a bunch of different places, right? Which is why I actually created an escalation policy, which was like, if you wanted to escalate, here's how to look at an org chart and decide who you needed to talk to next. Because my problem is not with the go over someone's head to complain about them. It's that you go over their head and you don't actually have a lateral path as well. Because I would often have this at like, somebody wanted to escalate, and so they're talking to an architect, and instead of going to the manager, they would then go to the director or the VP, who is then going to call over to a VP or director who's their peer, who has no idea what the fuck just happened. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say.
Hey, on this show, you can swear all you want.
On this side, oh wait, I can swear all I want.
Yeah, because this is going on a podcast,
right? And so I've had that, and the answer is like, you have to learn how corporate culture works, which is escalations are really, really powerful. But if they're not well directed, they create more harm than good. If you are going to go tell one of my peers a thing, and you work for me and you did not tell me before you told my peer, and it's something contentious, you've created a problem. Right? So we would create this like ladder chain. It's like, if this is the problem in the other organization, here's how you go around them. Now, I've seen this case, and I had somebody who worked for me because I had an open door policy. My policy was very clear. If you work for me, any level, you can walk in and complain about your manager. And if they work for me, whatever. Now, I had a case where somebody walked in and complained to me. They worked for a manager who worked for a director who worked for me. And they were complaining about the manager. And I said to them, have you talked to the director yet? And they said, well, no, you're the only one with an open door policy. And I'm like, this is a real challenge because the director should know. Like, it should not have come to me first, but it did. And so I went to the director. I said, so just, employee, I'm going to go talk to the director. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah. I said, okay. So I went to the director. The director got really cranky at me. I said, hey, your fault. You didn't have an open door policy that was clear, but I'm not taking action on this yet. It's your responsibility to go take action. And so that's the secret, which is, if you have these escalations, you have to think, what happens when? And too many people say, oh, you can come talk to me, but you don't walk through the who might talk to you and what might you have to do and deal with that in a way that's going to be graceful for your organization.
All right. We got our next game coming up. Are you ready to play, Peter?
Darn right.
All right. More books are going to be given out. TJ does not get 2 copies of each book if he wins twice, but TJ can win again. Actually, TJ, if you win again, I'll give you a prize. All right. All right. Let's play our next game, people. And here's the music.
It's time to play a brand new game.
All right. So this is which password is more popular. And I'm playing again because I have not seen it at all. So everyone get in there. Remember, we're playing for a book from Peter Gregory and a book from Andy Ellis. I've read one of the books, and I also know that Peter is an amazing author too. So you cannot lose with either one, is what I'm saying. But you can lose at this game if you're not the winner. All right. So here's how the game works. You're going to be presented with 2, 3, 4 passwords that people have used. All this information comes from the Have I Been Pwned database. All right. And so you have to figure out which one is more. Oh, someone did put their social security number in.
They put
Great.
a social security,
Social security number.
I'm going to
I mean,
assume
it's
it's
somebody's.
theirs.
We just don't know whose.
Somewhat.
It might
And password 123 has joined as well. So what's going to happen is, am I in there? Yeah, I'm in there.
So actually, I've got a fun little detail that most people don't know. How many digits are in a social security number?
9.
Nope, 10.
Why? Where's the 10th?
There's a hidden 10th digit at the very end, which is implicitly an A. It can be a B if you are the foreign spouse of a U.S. military member stationed abroad who then comes over. Korea is where we got a lot of these. So there's a lot of Korean veterans who brought their spouses back. They were not issued separate social security numbers originally. They got the same number, but with a B after it. So social security numbers actually have 10 digits.
All right. I did not know that. All right.
I used to do
Looks like
data entry for
everyone who's going to
Rockwell.
play is in. There's a lot more people here, but this is who wants to play. All right. Hit the start button. Remember, what you want to guess is the password more used, the one that people use more often. And in honor of the Patriots, which is Andy's team and my team for that matter, and the Super Bowl, here are going to be the Patriots editions for you, Andy.
I
I'm
need
expecting you to do
screenshots
well.
of these.
Which password is more popular? Here we go.
Drake May. Come on, it better be up here.
Patriot or capital or lowercase? Yeah, that's a gimme in that one. That one I could have told everybody. That's
it has
total
more
gimme.
context than Patriots.
But also people, if they're using crappy passwords, they're not using capitalization. That's the other thing. All right, Davey is a Patriot ranked. So the lower the number, the more popular it is. So ranked 1902 versus 76,212. You'll be interesting. We're going to find out. Maybe there's other sports teams here. So my guess is Patriots and Seahawks is going to be one of these.
Go Seahawks.
Well, we already know 76. We'll see. Oh, there you go. Remember, oh, God, this is, well, we'll see. I don't know about this. Drew Bledsoe or Tom Brady.
Oh, come on. Like there's any content. What? How is Bledsoe more popular than Tom Brady?
That's what I picked. I'm 2 for 2 so far.
Recount.
I am definitely 2 for 2. By the way, if I win, the second place winner will get the books. That's if I win. But right now, I'm not on the leaderboard.
Well, I'm out of it unless other people lose, and everybody lose badly now. So
yeah, Bledsoe. Look at that difference. No, remember, people set up their password probably years and years ago, and this isn't.
No, I suspect actually, if we put Brady against Bledsoe, Brady is probably higher than Bledsoe.
Brady but it's
the
better.
Tom Brady.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I got tricked by that one.
But then again, that
Rich,
Brady could
suck.
be any Brady for that matter.
I assume Rich put these together.
It'd
So.
be the Brady bunch.
Okay, Parcells or Belichick.
So I'll be honest, I'm going with Parcells just because people can spell it.
Same here.
Oh, is that how you spell? I thought it was Belichick with a Check.
Yes, everybody thinks there are more E's in it than there are. Ha!
Ah, that one I got wrong. All right,
Ding.
I thought it was Belichick. You see, I would have spelled
right.
Belichick. If I used the password, I would have spelled Belichick's name wrong.
Ooh, I moved up into 6th place now.
Renan is doing very well. Renan or Renan, my apologies for mispronouncing the name. I think is one before. Just hit answer streak 3. All right, here we go. Next one. Parcells ranked not present, just like
the Hall of Fame. Well done. Well played, Rich.
All right. That was a good one. All right. We got 2 more. So there's going to be 5 questions here. Football. Ooh, this is a good one. I'm going with that one. This is a tough one because they all are a variation of what people will not do. I blew it.
Yes.
Football.
Wow, you're one of the 5 people who got it wrong.
Yeah, well, I blew it.
Because it satisfied the requirement that you have a number in it.
Now, by the way, I would love it if password 123 wins. This would be so appropriate if password 123 wins. We're going to find out. Well, I had the second most popular. All right, last one. Oh, God. I'm going with that.
I like that. This one's good. This one's going into it.
Some of these I'm guessing aren't even on the list. No, they're all on the list. No, well, we don't know yet. Hold on.
Oh, Randy.
Well, I blew this.
Also not in the Hall of Fame.
All on the list.
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
So I think my favorite Randy Moss thing is he was like, why didn't y'all cheat when I was on the team so we could have won a Super Bowl? That was one of the best lines ever. Doesn't matter how you feel about anything. It's a great line.
All right, let's see who the winner is. Number 3, 4 out of 5. Password 123. Did not win. 5 out of 5. JD, good job. But a little bit faster, better is Vibe. Oh my God.
What?
Peter wins. Andy, you're sending Peter a book.
Okay.
That's awesome. All right. I'm thrilled that happened.
It'll be the best book in Peter's house.
This is so ironic. I win the contest and the prize is my book.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, no, the prize is you're getting Andy's book right now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Kudos to the 2 of you. Great job, everybody. I'm thrilled that you won. I'm also thrilled that password 123 made it onto the leaderboard as well. All right.
Nice job, Dwayne.
Okay. So we have a positive paperwork example. Here we go. Show on stage. Positive. Ask your team to update their resume for their review. We then explore during the discussion how their work has helped to enhance their value over the next year. There is a problem, is no value added. Would you do this? Have your team up. So this is about helping people find their next job. Would you tell your team to update their resume?
I love this. I think this is great. Yeah, absolutely. Because a piece of the resume is describe the value that you provide for this business.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And also update your skills. So this is a better, honestly, functionally your resume and your annual performance review. I hate annual performance
From Barry
reviews,
Green, by the way. I want to give Barry credit from Qubit Cyber, the CISO.
Yeah, but your annual performance review should basically be your resume for that year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then it's just synthesize it into your resume. But if you say to somebody, I have no fear of you going to find a better job. It's not that you're saying like, I think you're worthless. It's you're saying, look, this is a great, if you want to go look somewhere else, go for it, because I'm not afraid. I'm not trying to control you. I want what's best for you. They're not going to find that elsewhere. Like if every manager was doing that, maybe you're better off not doing it, but stand out from the crowd of managers by being people focused.
100%, Andy. And I do like that idea. I would presume that is a one-on-one exercise and not a group exercise. It's got to be one-on-one.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be. But I like that idea.
Yeah. And because here's what you remember is that
well, hold it, David. This is what David Klippel says. He said, this is scary practice, implies layoffs around the corner. Could.
So it could, like, So if you're a shitty manager right now and you walked in and this was the first thing you did, that's absolutely what the signal you're going to send. If this is part of your practice, where you basically say, my job as a manager is to develop my people until they can't work for me anymore because I don't have a great spot for them. That's what your job is as a manager, and you will get so much value out of them along the way. And if that's your job and you make that very clear, then this doesn't like create that craziness. Here's the way you should look at it. I have a friend of mine, retired CIO CISO, who says you should have an angel manager and a devil manager, one on each shoulder. And when they agree, it's good advice, right? Why do you do this? Because you get more out of your people. The more you develop them, the more you can exploit them. Like if I'm paying you $100,000 and you're working like $100,000 person, that's okay. But if I can develop you until you're like $130,000 person, but I've only given you $110,000 pay raise, that's exploitation. I'm getting more value than I'm paying. Devil manager is like, yes, do more of this. Angel manager is like, hey, dude, you just took somebody who could not get a better job and you helped them. Now they could get a better job. Like you have invested in them. Great. Keep investing in your people.
Well, there's an old saying that this reminds me of, Andy, is I don't know if I'll get this exactly right, but it's like, what if we train our employees and they leave versus what if we don't train them and they stay?
Right.
I mean, as a leader, we have to equip our people so that they have market value. But then as we show them values as individual leaders, then they'll be comfortable staying because they know that we care about them and we're developing them. But as long as they like working with you, then you have nothing to fear.
Can I tell you the total reverse of that classic, comment that you just said is true, and that Jesse Whaley, who's the CISO for Amtrak, has proven this. He trains his staff. He's got a whole pipeline of how he does this. And what training your staff signals is you care about their career and you are willing to train them.
Right.
The ones where they make you go through hoops, then they won't approve training. You make it clear, like, we're not going to train you. We don't care. And,
well, if you don't train your staff, then people leaving is a problem for you. It's actually backwards. Like if I train you and you leave, the problem is if I only trained one person. If I've got a ladder of 10 people, let's just say I've got 10 different ranks of people in a ladder and I'm training all of them, and rank 10 person leaves, I can promote everybody in my team. They're all very happy and hire a new rank 1 person. And this is what I used to do. I would go to, I'd have a manager come to me, a peer would be like, hey, we need you to assign an architect to this. And I'm like, okay, that's going to be a principal architect. We'll give you, one of our great people and I'll go backfill them. But you need to give me budget for a principal architect. And they're like, okay, that sounds great. And I would take one of my senior architects who is ready for promotion, promote him to principal, send them over into using this principal architect funding I had. Now I have backfill for a senior architect, promote an architect. And I would do this all the way down. And then we would take and convert one of our interns to full-time. And that's how you also beat the fact that you don't have enough progression budget and, cost of living adjustments every year, never keep up, is if you're a great manager with a great training program, you will stop hiring senior people because you create your own senior people.
You'll grow them. You'll make them yourself.
Yep.
Yes. This is, again, the classic line Jesse Whaley said of, don't try to hire unicorns, grow your own.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. It's make or buy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let me also show this on stage, which I haven't really been plugging. So next week, a week from today, Hacking Analyst Happiness. Do me a favor. Click on that register button. You see it's in the lower left corner. Now, you are welcome to not click it if you've already registered. But if you have not registered, please click that register button, open up the other window, register for next week, get it out of the way so you don't have to worry about it until later. Just go ahead, register right now. And also, I have made that also available at the bottom of the screen right there. It's there.
I want to say that next week, I'm hoping most analysts are unhappy because there's a Super Bowl and the analysts are all calling for the Seahawks to win. So I want them all to be unhappy.
I hope they are too. I'm rooting for the Patriots too. I will not be at the game. Andy is going to be at the game. This is Andy's 5th Super Bowl.
Yep.
And And I hope. And are you going to? You got some special nice box seats type thing?
Well, no. It's just lower bowl seats. But I'm doing the Patriots do a travel with the team package. So I'm doing that. My kid. We also get tickets through our package. Like we have a normal season ticket package, and those seats my kids are going to be using. So they're flying from college to go to the game on Sunday morning, and then Sunday night they're red-eyeing back so that they can walk into classes on Monday morning, like literally just off the plane. So I hope
they are going to be zombies.
Well, yeah, but I hope the Patriots win because then they can walk in as a zombie. It's the ultimate flex if they're still wearing their jersey from the game to be like, yeah, sorry, I'm tired, but I was at the Super Bowl yesterday.
It's the ultimate flex. All right,
and smelling like spilled beer too. Right?
Exactly.
Quite possibly.
All right, let me. I'm going to wrap this up and stick around, everybody. We're going to do the meetup right afterwards. If you've never come to our meetup, please come. Turn your camera on. Say hello. We want to chat with you afterwards. We can talk more about employee retention. If you have questions about your own job, these are two excellent people to ask about. All right. Let me just remind everybody here that this Monday, Steve Zalewski, our co-host for Defense and Death, and Nick Espinoza, the host of the Deep Dive Radio Show, will be our guests on the Department of No. This is a show, if you haven't been attending live or listening to it on your podcast, it's a show where we kick off the entire week of what's happening in cyber. This is your week where we look at the past week's news and say, hey, what does this mean to you and your business this week? This is a show you should listen to. Remember, stick around for our meetup. We'll have breakout rooms open right after the show. You just stay where you are. You'll see a countdown 15, and you can move in and out of rooms. Please speak up. We want to hear your stories. And then lastly, if you want to sponsor Super Cyber Friday, email us at info@cisoseries.com. All right. Now, let me get rid of that.
Do we have a sponsor today?
No sponsor. No sponsor. Okay. We're sponsor free.
I'm sponsored. 1% Leadership and AIGP sponsored this show.
Our sponsor show. Yes, we were happy to sponsor your books.
Yeah, there we
promote them as well. Did we put them in the chat? The links in the chat, please. Drop them in again. Drop them in again, and then register. Also, the link is at the bottom and at the top for next week's event. All right, we have 3 minutes left, so I'm going to ask my last question. I would say, essentially, Peter, I'll start with you. Your advice or something we did not discuss here, of which there's a bazillion things we haven't discussed. So that's why continue in the chat room, everybody. But what is something we should have been bringing up that we did not bring up today?
One of the question, David, that was in our materials, and that's what do we call healthy turnover? What does that look like? How long is too long to stay in a job? How short is too short and a problem?
Yes. All right, there we go. We have links for both Andy's book and Peter's book right there. All right. I like that. We can discuss that in our chat afterwards. Andy, what are your thoughts?
So the one thing we didn't talk about is the role of HR. Mm-hmm. And at every company it is different, but there are a lot of HR professionals who are not actually in the job of retention. Right? They are administering policies to make sure the company does not get sued. And if you can identify that that's the case, then you'll know not to go work with HR. Sometimes you'll find HR professionals who are amazing, but you need to know how HR is going to operate and how they're going to interact with you, because you might be doing things that they don't want you to do because you're deviating from the normal. And so when you're doing that, maybe you don't tell them as much.
Yes. And remember that HR is not there to protect you. HR is there to protect the company.
Yep.
Yes. By the way, that's very, very wise words, because when you talk to them face to face, they will tell you the exact opposite.
Yeah.
They will tell you the exact opposite.
No, they're there to keep the company out of lawsuits.
Yes, exactly. All right. With that being said, everyone, let's all go to the chat room. I want to thank our guest, Andy Ellis, who is the author of the book 1% Leadership, which I've read, and Peter Gregory. In fact, here, let's throw them up one more time. Here we go. Show again, 1% Leadership by Andy Ellis. Go pick it up. It is a great read. In fact, lots of advice and a whole boatload more is in that book. Go ahead. You can just click that buy on Amazon link right there. Or there's Peter Gregory's book, Artificial Intelligence Governance Professional, the AIGP Study Guide. If you're studying for that, that's the book to have. Again, click on it, buy it on Amazon. All right, Let's wrap this up. Andy Ellis, awesome. Peter Gregory, awesome. Our producer, who's been running all of this in the background, making sure nothing hiccups, and no hiccups, that would be Josh. Thank you very much, Josh. Take us out. Everyone stay where you are. We're going into the chat rooms. It's 15 seconds. You'll see